Well, hello everyone. This is Brian with Trade Masters. Welcome back to another session on one of our tools called Sentinel. This is our Sentinel Power Overview. You can't cover this just in one night. There's no way. A lot to this trading system. I'm going to do my best in the next 30 minutes to cover as much of it as possible. Again, the best thing you can do is take screenshots, take some notes, post questions and comments in the YouTube or on our Telegram channel, and then also go live in our live sessions and see it being used. Listen to the other traders who are using it, what they're doing. There's just a lot of power inside of this thing, and there's no way we can cover it in 30 minutes, but we will do our best to give you a broader base understanding of Sentinel. I will say Sentinel is a professional grade trading system. It is not an indicator or a strategy. It has multiple strategies welded together into one quality first framework. We don't want quantity, we want quality. But I will say this up front. Sentinel is not the Holy Grail. We do not have one of those. It still takes discipline and a plan. You need context. You still need to be able to know your risk management going in. So in the next 30, 35 minutes, I'm going to do my best to give you a big picture view of what Sentinel is, what you're seeing on the charts, the highest impact settings that control quality over quantity. Again, there's a lot of signal servers out there giving you signals all the time, but you have no idea what they're giving you. And there's a lot of systems out there that give you buy and sells, and they say they're quality, but are they really? So we won't cover every knob and dial tonight. It's impossible to do so, but we'll walk through what we can to clear a way to use Sentinel without being completely overwhelmed. And really the deep mastery, as I mentioned before, happens in our live sessions and in our recordings. So again, keeping our focus of 2026, clarity, structure, and execution. So before we start, we want to dive into a little bit of what the expectations are right away. Sentinel is built for traders who want that structure, but structure only helps if we honor that structure. So tonight is just an overview of the most important sections, I think, and how to think about them. And when I developed this system and these strategies within it, combined them, it was with the traders in mind and giving you guys the flexibility to be able to kind of create your own plan inside of it. So what we will not do is try to master Sentinel in one setting. There's no way to do that. If you truly want to master it, you'll show up to the live sessions, watch the recordings, get reps in the community, ask questions, and really dive in. Um, and I'm not going to read the screens for you guys. Feel free to take screenshots if you need to. Read them as I'm going through, talking about what Sentinel is. And definitely, like I said, ask questions. I'm not going to be sharing any sort of what is the behind calculations of all these different strategies. That would be a whole different lesson altogether. We're just going to talk about how to use the tool responsibly and hopefully effectively. Now, when you walk into a trading room and you see a screen and it has a lot of components to it, sometimes it can be overwhelming. You can make Sentinel as clean looking or as complicated as you want. Um, but I'm going to go through all of that. Sentinel is quality first signals on a 5 and 15 minute chart. Sentinel is designed for scalping and day trading. It is not currently set up to be a swing trading system. The highest I would go on this is probably the 1 hour, but you have to have some context with that. Sentinel is a complete trading system built for active trading environments. It's designed to help you trade fewer, better setups by adding that structure that we talked about, timing. We have quality gates in there, zone awareness, some risk support. But one thing that separates us is we do not trade in a vacuum. Trade Masters creates a weekly report that I create for you guys that gives you and zooms out, gives you a macroeconomy look of the global currency market, which impacts all markets. Uh, I'm getting all these little notes now. Wonderful for the term. Great, cool. Okay, cool. Trade Master creates, like I said, a weekly report called Sentinel Weekly Report based on the week history, past performance. It gives you macroeconomy stuff, pair expectations. It gives you upcoming news and how to handle those, recent behaviors, and then future historical projections. For instance, what has a particular currency done in the month of January normally, or February normally, or in a session of time, a season from January to May? What does this thing do? And so then we can create our settings built around that. And that's how we keep the tool grounded in context. You can fine tune those settings. But we do it with a reason when we make adjustments. It's never just because we get bored or frustrated. Very, very specific things that we consider. But when you're looking at this screen, you see a lot of noise. Now, I will tell you the vertical coloring, that's just sessions. I'm not going to cover sessions, but those are just showing you the sessions that applies to the Aussie yen. So when we get a signal inside the color, that means it's a viable. And you'll notice we don't have any signals in the black areas because that's a session that's not going to be highly profitable historically. So let's go Sentinel on the chart. What you're seeing here, again, these are the visual components. You will see signals. Pulse is just if you've ever heard of mean reversion, there's a system in here where you can do a pulse or it's a pullback. Now understand, several of the strategies inside of Sentinel are related to breakout structures. Okay, but we always wanted to throw in a pulse. Those ones who like to see a breakout and have it revert back and test an area. So that's there for you to use. I don't use the pulse very often. I stick with the main trend signals that I'm getting. So let's decode it a little bit better so you get stops feeling like you're in a cockpit of an airplane and not know how to fly. On the chart, you're going to see buy and sell signals. Those prompts are when criteria align. Several things have to be in alignment for those things to be um, populating on your screen, and so many of those things are in your control, which we'll see here shortly. Pulse, you want to think of it as quality momentum, tap on the shoulder. Hey, here's a good area you might want to consider. Then we have zones and levels. Those are historical support resistance areas, gap areas, things like that. So there's lots of different things inside of it. Session shading, as I mentioned, is there as well. Let me see what else I might be missing. Oh, the big yellow box in the bottom right. That is our Sentinel entry setup. And you can see that I'm risking 2% per trade. It tells me my stop should be 9 pips away. My target will be looks like a 2-to-1 ratio on this particular pair. So it tells me how far to put my stop, and it keeps everything risk management. So I encourage everyone to use the Sentinel entry setup to quickly set up a trade and not have to guess on what your stop and your target should be. Okay. The biggest mindset shift that you're probably going to face is a signal is not an order. Okay. When you get a signal, it's a moment to check the context and then execute those rules. So very, very again, we go into our signals of pay attention moments. And then we get our filters that kind of get the noise out of the way, protects you from the whipsaws and things like that. And then the execution comes from your risk management. So again, signal's not an order. It's just a tap on the shoulder to tell you, hey, pay attention to this area. This is a potential. Look at your context and then determine if it makes sense or not. I will tell you that I like to use Sentinel with Hercules. Hercules on a fast setting is what I use for me. And I ask for at least a 3 spread on the Hercules in coordination with Sentinel. That's one context I really like to use with Sentinel. Atlas is another one, but Hercules to me is a powerful combination there. And then quality over quantity. We started our session tonight talking about quality over quantity. I think because anytime anybody gets a system like this, they want to trade. So if you notice the first slide on the left, this is a wide open. You can have as many signals as you want. These are all viable. Now, looking hindsight, we can go, oh, that one didn't do it, that didn't do it. But if you're not being able to see the future and you want a bunch of signals, you can go through in here and figure out if they're quality or not after the fact, and you're going to find that the majority are going to be quality. You're going to find that to be true if they're with the trend. So you can have as many as you want. But I would highly encourage you not to do that. You want to look at the chart on the right. That's the one that's going to give you, with some rule-based strategies, quality first. That's almost as saying that all of our gates and all of our strategies align to work properly. So On the left, again, is this Sentinel is wide open and you get a lot of signals. And for many traders, that feels exciting. That's that dopamine we talked about until you realize it's just creating more noise. It creates overtrading and it creates this emotional decision making. Or it can flip side, it can cause procrastination because it's too much noise. On the right, it's the same identical system, but it's configured for quality. You're going to get fewer signals, cleaner conditions, better timing, and higher probabilities. So if you're a seeker, if you're craving clarity, the direction you want to go is quality over quantity. Sentinel gives you that power to choose. You can set the system up how you want. You'll see that here in a moment. And with the power, you just need those guardrails to protect you from blowing up your account. All right, here we go. I promised it. It's going to get a little bit more complicated. The workflow, context. Okay. You need to have context. Understand the weekly biases in the news and the daily biases in the news. And then understand your lane in that with a 5 to 15 minute chart. Okay. Timing. The sessions are key. You don't want to be trading a pair when it's historically not profitable in a particular time of day. Trade the sessions you've chosen and honor those no trade windows. Okay. Our report gives you the higher probability sessions. Now you can add, I do from time to time on some pairs, I'll add the US session onto it, even though it's not the high because I've noticed some things. So you have the flexibility to do that. There's lots of quality gates that you're going to see. You got trend volatility, zone suppression. Golly, there's so many. These are going to help you avoid bad conditions. Okay. And then that signal, confirm it, make sure it fits context, then execute. The signal is not permission, it's just your prompt to pay attention. Review your trades. Consistency grows when you log those trades. Did you stick with your rules? And if you make adjustments, make them intentionally. Okay. And this is how you trade with confidence instead of that chaos we talked about. Now, let me just say this. 93% of traders that scalping traders lose money. 93. Let that sink in for a moment. You're playing against the odds. It's a high risk, high reward type situation. You're getting in and getting out. It is all about timing. When you slide up to the day trading, you improve your odds of being correct more often, and there are more profitable day traders. Obviously, you increase your odds. So you need to figure out, are these for you? I like to do a combo. If my time allows, I love to be on the 15-minute chart. But like I said, I'm a full-time school teacher, love it, don't want to change it. I enjoy it. So I use my swing session. But if I have time during the summer, during spring break, during this recent Christmas and winter break, I love to do the 15-minute chart. I'm not forcing it. If it's there, it's great. But I know my context. I am not great at 5 minute chart. I'm just not. I fall into that 93%, just being completely transparent, but successful in the 15 minute as long as I follow my rules and keep the context. Okay. So our input overview, there's a lot of them. You're going to see them here in a moment. I don't want them to overwhelm you. You may have to go over this video a couple of times. That's okay. Um, the sections that we're going to cover are not all. We're not going to cover each detail, but we're going to talk about the time and sessions and what a cooldown is. Session timing filters like Asia, London. There's Asia, London, London, US overlap, and New York. Okay. There's signal quality and volume filters. There's risk management and entry boxes. There's alerts and display options. There's volatility and trend regime, microstructure, ADR. I told you this is a trading system. It is not an indicator. It's not a strategy. It is in multiple strategies welded together. But I want to make sure that you understand what we're not going to be doing. We're not optimizing every knob for every pair in one night. There's no way you can do that. We're not going to teach you with all the behind the mechanics because it's not going to help you. There's no way you can learn it in one night. Uh, we're not going to encourage you to constantly tweak it. Stability always beats tinkering. Tinkering with a purpose and a reason is different, though. Okay, so Sentinel has a lot of settings, and that's a gift, but it can also be very overwhelming to people. So tonight we're going to focus on the highest impact sections, the ones that most directly affect your quality control. of getting quality over that quantity that we keep talking about and protecting your account. We're intentionally not going to be optimizing every detail. Again, just most traders just hurt themselves by constantly changing settings. Stability actually builds the skill. So stability also actually builds your history to see where tweaks may need to be happening. You do not want to tweak every 10 trades. Go 50 trades, see what you did. And on a 15 5-minute chart, 50 trades doesn't take long at all. It could be a month. But get 50 trades at least under your belt before you really start tweaking things. Okay. And we'll keep it practical and hopefully repeatable. So here we go. First screen, you're going to see the one on the left call, and that's just the very, very first thing you see when you open up the user inputs. Timing is one of the biggest hidden edges that we have with Sentinel Trading System. A lot of traders take good setups at bad times and then blame the tool, and it's not that. The global no trade window and the session filters exist to protect you, not because you're weak or ignorant or anything like that, but the market does have rhythms. There are times it ebbs and flows. Cool down is another underrated guardrail that we put in there. We'll talk about that too as we go through each of these. It forces breathing room so you can so you don't have to take three signals back to back to back in chop. It's helping you the guardrail, the cool down helps you avoid the back and forth whipsaw and continually losing. If you're seeking clarity, then you want to start here. Decide when you will trade and then let Sentinel help you enforce it. So when we say the global window, it tells you, if you notice each box, I've purposely put an information bubble. You'll see right here. When you go to the system and you hover your mouse over that, it will tell you what it does. But let me quickly tell you what the global no trade window is. We don't trade Sunday when markets open for currencies all the way to Monday evening, Central Time, 8 p.m. Okay? We don't. In addition to that, I don't trade 12 p.m. Central to 8 p.m. Central during the day. I just don't. Could you manually trade? Sure, you could. You could see some things, but I found for what we call global for the most of us users, having this checked keeps you from trading times when it's not really true volume or institutional type money. Cool down, this fluctuates. On a 15-minute chart, I like to have six. Sometimes it recommends 10. Six gives me 6 bars before I get another alert with that particular pair. You can make that as low as you want. Obviously, the lower the number, the more signals you're going to get consecutively. Sentinel session timing, again, certain pairs trade better in certain sessions. These are the timed sessions, and some of these overlap. The Asian session and London sessions do overlap. And then obviously the big one is the London session for most pairs, and then the overlap for US and London. Okay, so that's that part. Now, when you saw all the clutter on the screen, that's when we had this first signal candle unchecked. If I check it, it's gonna really tighten it down. I like to leave it unchecked and let my other filters filter it out. I want every signal possible that I could get and let my filters to do the work. So we put in there a trend. Enable high time frame. HTF means high time frame signal agreement. So for instance, if I'm trading on a 15-minute chart and I really want a solid trend before I get in it, I'm going to put a 2-hour chart on it. That's a pretty solid one. 4 is even harder, hardcore. 1 hour is a little bit less hardcore, but it still fits the rhythm. Okay, so that's again your call. Watchtower and scanner, just ignore those. This system was initially built to take on the burden of swing trading and position trading. Uh, it just became too heavy on the system. So Watchtower and Scanner have to do with higher time frames, so you won't have to worry about that. Confirm with volume strength. You always want to trade with volume, okay? Always. And then we got this dry run. It's a simulation. It won't really help you guys unless we find a problem in the system and you see something and you notice it. Just know that that's a way for you to do a test run to see what's going on. You probably won't understand it, so you won't need to check that at all. That's mainly for you guys to see testing. Okay. Next screen is it's still the continuation. It looks like the same screen. So let me maybe I missed something. Okay, yeah, high time frame. I've already talked about that. First scan, already talked about that. Not required. If you're new, keep it simple and leave it off. Yeah. So we've got that covered. I'm going to make sure I don't miss a thing. Here's our next screen. This is one of the most important sections. Okay. This is a huge piece of it. Volume strength confirmation can help you avoid those fake out moves. Where price blips and triggers you, then you die. ATR settings behind structure to risk. Instead of random stops, we're actually using the volatility aware type planning system. You may be aware of what that is. It's using the volatility to measure where our stop and our risk rewards are. Impulse and pulse settings help you filter weak trends and attempts. But here's the coaching warning: don't over optimize. If you change settings every week without a reason, you'll never build consistency. Use the weekly report that we provide and your own personal review process to make adjustments intentionally. Okay. Again, you've got some bubbles here. A few of these don't have bubbles, but it does have a bubble here. It doesn't give you any sort of guide there. So let me give you just a what confirm with volume strength again. It's going to validate the move, has participation, some momentum behind it. It will reduce those thin signals that don't get enough oomph behind them to go to your target. It's definitely useful when the market starts feeling choppy. Um, the ATR, as I mentioned, helps you with your stop multiplier. That's a risk management piece. It also helps you with your stops and targets, become less emotional. It becomes what you do. That's that little yellow box that I told you about. It's not magic. It's just providing you some structure inside of there. And again, don't over tweak. Pulse filters. I'm not using Pulse. You feel free to use them if you want to. I just don't see the need. It keeps me from overtrading every signal. I'm really sticking to the trend for me personally, but it's there for you as a trader to choose. And you can see I don't have it checked. So this right here is useful, but I'm not using it. I am using this, and this is a measure strength of that impulse move that we're looking for. And then we go to a little further down. Oh, I scrolled down too quick. Show order flow. That's those zones that we saw on the first screen. And you want suppression. Don't want signals inside those. You want them coming out of it. So there are a lot of things that'll explain that there for you on that. And like I said, there's so much in here for the user to use and make it such a powerful, powerful tool. So this is where we start getting the professional grade part. We sent the system in to have a corporate, what they call it, grading system, and it graded 93% institutional type system. Thousands of dollars people would be willing to pay for this thing. Thousands. I was shocked, but we got a professional grade stamp on it. So this is where it really came from. Order flow, zones and smart suppression. It goes back to what we always talk about. Location does matter. Key price points do matter. A great looking signal can always fail if it fires in the wrong location. It can fire right into resistance. We've seen that with using Atlas. It can fire right into a reaction zone. It can fire right into a weak area and it end up just fizzling out. So using that smart suppression helps us reduce those situations a bit. Minimum bull bear scores raise that quality bar. Normally those will stay at 2. Occasionally during the summer, you'll see us adjust those because the summer months are a little bit different. But normally the defaults are just leave them alone. And this is how you move from that quantity piece into the quality mode without even having to guess. When you start checking these boxes and having them do the work, there's several things going on behind the scenes that would be massively impressive if you got to see it. So just know that that's key pieces of the puzzle. Let me keep moving on. I would encourage you. This is to me is a non-negotiable, but for me, I would highly encourage you to use this. People don't pay attention to this part as much. This does not really play into your entry as much, and so people aren't as fascinated by it. But for me, it's a non-negotiable. Most traders don't blow accounts because their indicators are bad. They really don't. They blow their accounts because they don't know what their risks are and they're inconsistent with it. So here's what I would encourage you to do. Set your balance every time, every day. Make sure, even if you made just $10 the day before, set it to the right balance to start your day. Know what you're going to risk per trade honestly every day. I have no problem day trading with 2% risk. That's me though. Maybe you're not, maybe you're new and you want to start with a 0.5%. That's fine. But you need to know who you are first. Then put that in the box. So if you see my risk is 2%, you might want to say a 0.5%. That's perfectly fine. And then let that be your discipline. Don't think again. You're going to risk this 1%, 2%, whatever it might be. If you're a really good day trader, I have no problem going to 3 to 4%. If mathematically you prove that you win 60% or more, then why wouldn't you go to a higher risk? But until you get to that confidence, keep it, 1% or so. Risk reward, it's again, this is high. 2%, go 2 to 1, I should say. That's a pretty high one. I really like to hit that sweet spot of 1.5 to 1.7-ish. A lot of times you'll see that on the reports, 1.5 to 1.7. It's not quite the two that everybody does, the 2 to 1, 2 to 1, 2 to 1. So I'm getting out before a lot of the masses would be going. Because remember, a lot of these things are self-fulfilling prophecies. It's just because of what it is. Risk reward is not about being perfect. Okay. It's about being intentional. So as a coach, never widen your stop to avoid being wrong. That's what we keep talking. If you know what your risk is, accept it and walk away and let it be. That's how those small losses become major big damages when you start moving and widening stops just because you are, oh, I think it's going to go my direction. I think it's going to. That's why systems blow up. Okay, we see it all the time. Most traders have been in part of systems or alerts where everything's making money. And for a month or two, they make money. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you have an 80% drawdown. Something's not right. Either they're trading without a stop or they're widening it, thinking, oh, it's going to correct. It's going to correct. You don't know the future. So never widen a stop, just avoid being wrong. Take the wrong, take the loss, and then recalibrate to get in at a later time, maybe a better time. Okay. You'll always accumulate better that way. That's a coach's call there. Okay, so display and alerts are all, it's really more psychological. It's your execution, but I like to have a clean display mode. If you take the clean display mode off, it's very, very noisy. Okay. Debug labels are for troubleshooting. You guys won't understand that for a while, but I kept it in there for me. But that's not to be used for daily trading. You wouldn't understand it. Uh, the alerts, you can see that you can create early alerts. Those are there for pulse and regular signals. What we found early on with Sentinel, some people like those early alerts because they weren't always at their computer, but you get your phone and your email gets blown up because early signals blink. They can be there and they're gone. They're back on the one candle. In 15 minutes, you can have an early signal 2 or 3 times. So you're constantly getting dinged. Some people like that, and that's okay. But I like to keep mine on the confirmed signal and confirmed pulse. Those are the alerts that I want to get, and that allows me to put into Trading View and have alerts sent to my Trading View account. So let me make sure I didn't miss anything on my notes. Start with confirm alerts. Again, I wrote this down. Early alerts can create noise and FOMO if you're not careful, and that's what happens. Early alerts, you're afraid of missing out. Notifications should only support your discipline, not trigger your impulse trades. Make sure you have a rule-based strategy. I keep telling everybody that. You need to have your own. Okay, I think I'm catching everything here on that part that I wanted to get. And let's look at the bottom part here. Now, this is that micro stuff. This is what sets us so high as an institutional piece. You've got multiple guardrails that protect you from trading when conditions are poor and not conducive. So obviously there are some volatility gates in there, quality of movement gates that help kind of resist that whipsaw stuff. There's a trend regime that uses an ADX system that helps confirm when there's enough trend energy, that momentum for our settings. There's microstructure that helps us avoid the false starts. We've got ADR for our headroom, and that's a big one, really. It answers, is there even enough room today for me to reach my target? Because every pair has a daily average that it moves. Is there enough for us to reach that? These filters all together help you do something most traders struggle with, and we talk about it during our town hall: alignment. It makes you wait for alignment. Clarity, structure, execution, all within alignment. And we provide this now. You'll notice the microstructure is not checked. I don't use it very often anymore because there's other systems inside, but feel free to use it if you so choose to do. I do use the ADR headroom though. Okay. And we'll have that in our reports as well. And after a while, the reports become pretty normal to do. Okay. I hope that's been a good. I'm at 30 minutes at this point right now. So let me go ahead and finish up. Next steps, how to actually master Sentinel. I would just tell you to start simple. I heard this phrase, but from a teacher not too long ago. Don't boil the whole ocean, and it related to test scores, but that's true. Don't try to boil the whole ocean. Or another phrase that Al and I will use: don't. It's going to feel like you're drinking water from a fire hydrant. Don't. Okay, pick your trading lane. I would always encourage you to go to the 15-minute charts first, and run confirm alerts only. Keep a clean display. And keep a stable baseline for a few weeks. Okay. Don't really change a whole lot. Follow the reports when they come out, but also start watching those reports to see, I'm going to keep that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. Learn with the context. We talk about that. That's step two. Use that weekly report again to respect the news. Journal your trades. Um, Bring questions to our live sessions. Put questions in the Telegram channel. Put questions in the YouTube channel. That's really where the depth of Sentinel gets unlocked for you guys. Then step three, here's the honest promise. Sentinel is not going to replace your discipline or lack thereof. Matter of fact, it's going to expose it. Okay. It is so mechanical that it exposes, can you stick to a plan? But for the trader who's willing to commit those long-term, uh, commit to that long-term discipline, this could be a powerhouse system. Um, and we're doing data testing and back testing. And it's been fantastic. Again, clarity, structure, execution, but one rep at a time. Okay. So we do have Q&A. If you want to ask questions, definitely put it in chat box of our YouTube channel, definitely in our Telegram channel. Anywhere you can reach us is definitely a way to go. And I'll just end with that screen so you know how to reach us. Again, our website for more information on how to become a member. Telegram for our general community, just for general questions. It's active, but not as active as our members area. We have a broker that we do use currently. We are not requiring that broker, but if you want to join our team on that broker has been very, very gracious to our team and knows us well as a team. Our Trading View, if you want to join our trading, if you don't have Trading View already, and we would love for you to use our link. Obviously helps us out a little bit. And we thank you for that in advance. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Instagram channel. If you would do me a favor, like the video, put a comment down below. That always helps bring attention to the channel a little bit stronger for others who may be seeking something very, very similar. All right, everybody. Hope this was informative for you. God bless you. We'll see you guys on the next one.